Barakatah Yahal, Barakatah Yahawashah, Barakatah Yahal, Barakatah Yahawashah, Barakatah Yahal, Barakatah Yahawashah. Now let's all praise to Yahal, Ba'ashem Yahawashah, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Now I'm going to start this off from the beginning and take it to the end. Now you got Genesis chapter 25 and starting at 23. And this is Isaac and Rebekah having children. It says in 23 of Genesis 25, it says, "And the Lord said unto her, Two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and one people shall be stronger than the other people." So everybody is not created equal. Some people are stronger than other people. And it was talking about the younger people was going to be stronger than the elder. Because it said, "And the elder shall serve the younger." And stronger go back to more than just physical strength. It's stronger all around. And so when you get to 25, it say, "And the first came out red all over, like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau." So the first came out red, meaning this child had leprosy, clean leprosy from head to toe. He had clean leprosy from head to toe. And that's according to Leviticus. In Leviticus, I'm thinking chapter 13, it talks about clean leprosy. We're going to shoot right there real quick. It says in verse 12 of chapter 13, it says, "If the leprosy break out abroad in the skin, and the leprosy cover all the skin of him that has the plague, from his head even to his foot, wheresoever the priest looketh." Okay, 13. "Then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy has covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean that has the plague. It is all turned white. He is clean." Okay, then you jump over to verse 24. It lets you know what it means when it says it all turned white. It says somewhat reddish or white. Somewhat reddish or white. So this clean leprosy was a reddish or white looking complexion. So he came out red because he had leprosy. Now, when you go into the next phase of these twins, in verse 23, the last part of verse 23 gave you the conclusion of these twins. The elder shall serve the younger. Okay, that is a broad statement because the Edomites served Solomon and King David, and maybe once or twice after that for a small period of time, but this is not gonna be a small period of time. Let's see here. When you go to Genesis 27, and we're gonna get right to the point. 27:29, he was talking to Jacob. He said, "Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's son Esau bow down to thee." Okay, so that was Jacob's main prophet's blessing, that people was gonna serve him, bow down to him. He was gonna rule over them, and Esau was gonna serve him. Okay, now Esau gets his blessing in verse 38. He said, Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Okay, now 39 it said, Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, meaning the richness of the earth, all in the good places. 40, and by thy sword thou shalt live, and shall serve thy brother. So he's saying you still gonna have to serve your brother, but when you rule, you gonna rule by the sword. And it shall come to pass when thou hast the dominion, when thou hast the rulership, when you have complete rulership, that thou shalt break his yoke off of thy neck. So you're gonna have complete rulership, and you're gonna rule by the sword before you have to serve your brother. That's pretty much what he was saying. Now, let's go to the next phase. Once both of these get a blessing of rulership, you still going to the next phase. Now, there are two nations that's going to be ruling, coming from Isaac, carrying on the blessing of Abraham. Two nations are going to rule. And see, these people try to act like Esau didn't get a blessing, but he got the blessing of rulership. He would rule just like Jacob got the blessing of rulership. Hebrews chapter 11 verse 20. By faith Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come. So Jacob and Esau got a blessing. He blessed both of them. You see? These other people will tell you that he didn't bless Esau. Esau lived away from the blessing. No, he blessed Esau and Jacob with rulership. But Jacob was going to have the longer rulership. And so, when you look at the situation, you got two nations that was in the womb. Two nations had the blessing. Now let's go to Revelation and get how this thing is going to be at the end of the world. It's going to take us to the end of the world. And these nations are categorized in the same manner. When you go look at Esau, let's start with Esau. But chapter 12 gives you these two nations again of Revelation. It said, there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun. A woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. That's the 12 tribes. Verse 3, let's get to Esau. And there appeared another wonder in heaven. But behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns. The 10 horns is the 10 kingdoms or 10 governments or somewhat tribes of Esau. And when I say somewhat, it means they organize, but mainly they are nations and countries, to be specific. 10 countries that's going to be ruling together. And so that was the great red dragon. Now let's get some more on that. And so you get the 17 of Revelations. We sticking to Esau in Revelation, right alongside of Jacob. It says in 17, 18, it say, and the woman which thou sawest is that great city, because it said mystery Babylon is this woman. So it say the woman that thou sawest is that great city which reign over the kings of the earth. Okay? You had a great red dragon. You see? And so this great city is the Edomites. Even though it's representing America, but it's also representing the Edomites. Okay? Now, let's get Jacob. We're going to get Jacob when it comes to this city. The great city of Esau, the woman was represented as a woman. Now let's see what Jacob is represented as. In chapter 21, verse 2, it say, and I John saw the holy city. You see, that's what the scriptures say. Jacob was a holy people. In Deuteronomy 7:6, thou art an holy people. You see, that's what John's seeing. He's seeing the elect of Jacob. He's in verse 2 of chapter 21, Revelation. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride, a woman adorned for her husband. You see? So you still got Jacob and Esau, and know this holy city. It tells you who this holy city was in chapter 12. It says, the wall was great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the 12 gates 12 angels, and the name written thereof, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. See, Jacob, names were changed to Israel. Now, you got Jacob and Esau all through the Bible, from front to back, from Revelation to Genesis. The whole book is about Jacob and Esau. And so when you go to Ezra, he lets you know that it was all about Jacob and Esau. 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. I could quote it, but let me read it off the page. He says in verse 9, it says, for Esau is the end of the world. Now we get into this part. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Verse 8, saying, he said unto me, from Abraham to Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. You see, that was a representation that he was going to bring down the Edomites. Jacob was going to be the tool to bring down the Edomites. So that's what the battle was in the whole Bible. Jacob and Esau, not God and the devil. It was Jacob and Esau. That's what the Bible was about. But they turned into this. It's a fight, a challenge in the spiritual world. It was no challenge in the spiritual world. It was no fight in the spiritual world. The fight was on earth with Jacob and Esau. Now let's get this. Because the Lord said he was going to fight with these Edomites forever until he pretty much destroyed these people. Now, let's get Exodus chapter 17, verse 16. He said, for he said, because the Lord has sworn that Salakia, because he said, the Lord have sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. Amalek is the top tribe of Esau. And so he's saying he's sworn that he's going to war with these people forever. This is not going to be no small situation. He's going to war with these peoples forever. Him and his chosen people. Because he's working through his chosen people, the Israelites, Jacob's children. Now when you go to Numbers 24, it lets you know what's going to happen in the last days. Verse 14. He said, now behold, I go unto my people, come therefore, and I will advise thee what this people shall do to thy people in the last days. You see, this is the last day. Jumping down to verse 18. And Edom shall be a possession in the last days. Mount Seir, representing Edom, also shall be a possession for his enemies in the last days. And Israel shall do valiantly in the last days. You see? So this is not no God and the devil battle, God and some spiritual devil battle. No, this is Edom is the devil. Edom is the adversary, Satan in the Hebrew, to the nation of Israel and God. And they switched the game up and confused you with this Christianity. That's why they calling it extreme, calling the truth extreme, because they are extremely lying about what the storyline in this Bible. This is an extreme lie that they have perpetrated on the whole world, because they are the land of darkness. When you go into Isaiah 60, it's talking about the darkness covered the earth and all the people in the earth. And why? Because Christianity covered the earth. The Muslims covered the earth. Just another form of Christianity. Covered the earth. Jehovah's wickedness covered the earth. You see, with their darkness and with their extreme lies. But I'm going to leave it there. Jacob is the holy city, and ESAU is the great city. They both are nations represented by a woman. The Bible always uses a woman as talking about a nation. You see? And so this is how the end is going to happen. The holy city is going to fight against the great city. You see? And the holy city is going to prevail. But I'm going to leave it there. All praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rekakadash. Double honors to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect worldwide. Our kingdom is at hand. Shalom.